This video was requested by the Space Hero 13. Or, at least it was until you changed your name to Whisperer. How could you betray me like this? Hello and welcome back to Quirk Analysis 101, the series where I give you a detailed rundown on the quirks in the world of My Hero Academia. In the last video, I rediscussed the ability that belongs to everyone's favorite half and half milk boy, senior daddy issues, alternate universe Prince Zuko wannabe, Shoto Todoroki, and his unbelievably powerful quirk, half cold, half hot. Okay, seriously, how is it that a quirk with a name equivalent to lukewarm is one of the most powerful abilities in the entire series? Like, what's next? Is he gonna come across someone with an even more powerful quirk called room temperature? Huh, now that would be a fight for the ages. In today's video, I will be discussing the quirk that belongs to Mrs. Spacewoman, Houston we have a problem, is she even human, and why is she so darn cute, the Space Hero 13. But before I begin, don't forget to Detroit smash that like button and slide on into that subscribe button's DMs to hit that notification bell. Now, without further ado, let's suck our way on into the devastatingly dominant, devouring quirk that is Blackhole. Blackhole is a medium-range emitter-type quirk which first appeared in Chapter 13, very fitting, of the My Hero manga, and Episode 10 of the anime. This quirk grants its user the ability to create a suction effect similar to that of a black hole through the tips of their fingers. Basically, the user can create a portal at their fingertips that can suck in and destroy anything they want, including light. Now, while I say the user can replicate the suction effect of the scientific phenomenon that is a black hole, it's not quite a one-to-one, as if the user could create a literal black hole at their fingertips, the suction force created by activating this quirk even just once would destroy the entire world. Not very heroic. The reason why this quirk is called Black Hole is because of its similarities to a black hole, with its insanely powerful suction capabilities, as well as the fact it crushes and disintegrates anything that gets sucked into it at an atomic level, turning any matter it devours into dust. Now, you may be wondering, if this quirk turns anything into dust, where does the dust go? And the answer is, Universe 616? How the hell am I supposed to know? Not even the scientists can answer that question. I mean, as far as they know, anything this quirk absorbs goes right up your mama's ass. But now it's time to talk about this quirk's abilities, for which there's like none of. Functionality-wise, this quirk is super simple. You point your finger at something you want to wipe from existence, it gets sucked into your finger, and poof, it's gone. Whether that be a person, place, or a thing. In the series, it's been stated that 13 primarily uses this quirk for rescue and evacuation, mostly for removing wreckage caused by disasters during rescue missions. Since her quirk is able to reduce all absorbed matter into atoms, she can just suck up any wreckage instantly, greatly increasing the speed of the cleanup process. She's essentially the perfect garbage can. This, accompanied by the fact that 13 is a hero and the usage of her quirk on most villains would result in their untimely and swift demise, something that is against the hero code, has resulted in 13 scarcely using this quirk for combat. And it's because of this lack of use that we have no idea what this quirk is capable of combat-wise. You know, other than just obliterating anything in the user's path. In saying this, we have seen 13 use the suction power of Black Hole to prevent fleeing enemies from escaping and to destroy Kurogiri's warping smoke, preventing him from using his quirk. So there is some practical combat use, it's just very situational. I still think 13 would have been better off as a garbage woman. I mean, her quirk is literally made for the job, and she even kinda looks like a trash can, or a toilet. But I don't think anyone deserves that fate. Imagine getting sucked into a black hole butthole first. But now it's time to talk about this quirk's weaknesses, for which, with even how simple this quirk is, there are a few. For starters, just like many other quirks in the series, the quirk factor of Black Hole lies entirely in the user's fingertips. This means that if the user gets overhauled, loses their arms, or even their fingers for this matter, then they lose the ability to use this quirk. As I've previously mentioned, 13 rarely uses this quirk for combat because she is a hero, but this may be more of a limitation than you initially realize. Since 13 refuses to use her quirk to take a life, her opponents can take advantage of her quirk's suction capabilities. Should someone get caught in this quirk's suction with no way to escape, 13 must deactivate Black Hole before said person gets into its disintegration range to avoid obliterating them, pulling her enemy towards her and leaving her yourself open for a counter-attack. An example of this weakness can be seen when Uraraka and Aoyama took advantage of this flaw during their final exams. Now, you could argue that this is only really a weakness if you don't want to kill your target. And you're right, it is. But a weakness is still a weakness. However, I believe the biggest weakness of this quirk is the fact that the user is not immune to the effects of Blackhole. This means that if you happen to accidentally activate this quirk, or you just simply happen to point your finger back at yourself mid-use, you're in the best case scenario going to leave yourself in critical condition and in dire need of a hospital visit, or in the worst case scenario, you're gonna rip yourself in half, suffer an unimaginable amount of pain, and die. So yeah, it's safe to say the biggest weakness of this quirk is being sucked into your own black hole. Unless that's your kink, of course. But enough of the weaknesses. Now it's time to talk about this quirk's potential. The first of which I want to mention is the fact that we actually have no clue how powerful this quirk really is. We have only really seen this quirk in action one time, and that was when 13 used it to restrain Kurogiri at the USJ, in which she was quickly outmaneuvered. However, because we've never seen 13 go plus ultra or even activate this quirk with more than one finger at a time, there is no telling the true strength of this ability. I mean, it's even possible that this quirk can in fact create the same amount of force and pull as a real black hole, but we have never witnessed 13 push it to its limits. And if this was the case, 13 would not only be uber omega powerful, but she would in fact be the most powerful being in the My Hero world, able to wipe away entire planets with the flick of a finger. Talk about a quirk awakening. If the user of this quirk was unafraid to unalive their opponents, then they would be practically unstoppable. A lot of one-touch ultimate destruction quirks in the series, such as Decay or Overhaul, rely on the user making physical contact with their opponent, which can be a huge disadvantage if you can't get close. However, this quirk carries the same destructive capabilities as these quirks, and counteracts the making contact problem by sucking in the target with incredible force. This means that in the right or wrong hands, Black Hole could be the ultimate destructive power. Let's hope All For One never figures that out. And finally, it's time for a fun fact. Did you know that 13's real eyes are a reference to none other than black holes? The unique rings we see around her irises resemble the first concepts given to depict black holes. And that's everything you need to know about the quirk Black Hole. Overall, it's a devastatingly powerful quirk that would put the fear of God into any opponent's eyes. But it lacks a lot of versatility and in the wrong hands could be very dangerous. Would I like to have this quirk? I honestly wouldn't mind. Although I would most certainly just end up becoming a trash man destroying all the garbage around the earth. But let me know what you think. Would you like to have the black hole quirk? And what quirk would you like me to cover in this series next? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Plus Ultra.